And we continue on with the real estate radio show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. Jeff Cox is with us, who's the owner of Right Now Heating and Air Conditioning. Jeff, I want you to introduce Don, who I've known. Don, feels like I've known you for 7 years beyond. He's the pride of Emmett. But introduce Don to our listeners.
You know, Don's just a huge asset for our company. He's my right-hand man. He was born here in Emmett, here in the valley, knows a lot of people. Just a tremendous asset to the community and also to this industry.
Yeah, and he's your sales manager, is that right? Or what? I mean, I call him the head janitor because he cleans up messes that you make.
You know, we recently just retitled him to project manager because he takes care of some sales and he does training and whatever we need done, and he helps with some of the marketing. So we just retitled him project manager.
Okay, well let's talk to the project manager. And Don, tell us a little bit about, and we went out and Jeff showed me a couple of the air conditioning units with the boxes up above them, and told me not to touch it because, I said, hey, I think I can fix that. Energy recovery system. Now tell us exactly how that works and how your system in particular kind of takes care of everything. It doesn't, I guess, kind of like a governor you'd put on your car and what it does with that, and it doesn't necessarily fit with what you guys are doing. Takes care of the whole system. Explain that to our listeners.
Yeah, that's the energy recovery system. Really, it's one of the best kept secrets out there as far as electrical recovery on a home. When electricity comes into the home, your motors in your home, anything from your refrigerator, washer, dryer, air conditioner, furnace, it uses that energy, but it doesn't use 100% of that. You as a homeowner would spend 100% to get that electricity,
right.
But then what doesn't get used gets sent back out to the grid. For years, the power companies have devices that will actually capture that energy. We can now put those on your home. It will actually save that energy instead of sending it back. It'll reuse it again, and it gives you whole house surge protection.
Now, I've actually heard Jeff talk about 10 to 20% save. I mean, you save a lot of money with this. Is that right? And you guys even guarantee some of that.
Depending on where you're located
right.
at. What we've been experiencing on average is anywhere from 5 to 10% on your total electrical bill.
Wow. That's incredible. So you come in and do an energy audit, because I've told people, they said, well, I hear Jeff talking about air conditioning this time of year in the winter, it's heating, but I mean, you guys have siding, windows, insulation. I mean, you want the whole house to be, I guess it's not supposed to be airtight. It's supposed to be able to breathe. But when you say energy audit, you guys are the A to Z.
Absolutely. One of the best ways to be able to get a return on your investment in today's market is to be able to save money on your utilities. Historically, it's gone up 5.5% compounded inflation over the years. What you're spending today, you're going to spend more tomorrow. So the best way to be able to harness that is to save money today. And that could be anywhere from your heating, air conditioning cost, weatherizing the home, insulation, windows, doors, siding, water heaters, all that can save money on your utility bills.
Now, Don, I asked you, I said, what do you like working for Jeff and Right Now Heating and Cooling? And you said family. Are you part of the family out there?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been in the industry since August 22nd of 1995. And growing up in the industry, my whole family, did heating and air conditioning. My grandfather, before he had passed, uncle, cousin, everyone did it. And just going through that, I didn't have a whole lot of training that was offered to me. Since I've met Jeff 7 years ago and came on with the family, he has provided me with more training than I could ever possibly get anywhere else.
Well, I think that's the key there, too, and we could keep talking about that. And there's so many companies out there, not necessarily that they don't believe in it, Don, but the training aspect. And I know that the listeners out there can't see, obviously, us in here today, but you can just tell by the way that Jeff and Don are dressed in here that they actually care. And Jeff talked about cleanliness, and I know that Don believes in it too. You can just tell by getting the feeling and talking to him. And I think it's just such an important thing when people go to use any company, when they call you. And I just love hearing it over and over again. You hear these guys talk about training. And it's such a huge thing because your guys that go into these homes, it's a direct reflection of your company.
Absolutely. The number 2 thing being taught in the prison systems today is heating and air conditioning. Number 1 is plumbing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. You don't really know who's being sent out to your home.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of a good point that he makes. But, a lot of these companies talk about, just like Jeff was talking about, how you get out there and you listen to these guys talk about, like I keep going back to the training portion, but it's not just that, because you'd be very surprised, and I know Jeff knows this, and I know Don knows this, but when people go to make a decision of who they're going to call, it's amazing what you talk about, your reputation, you talk about word of mouth, you talk about what kind of marketing are you putting out there for your company, and the whole point, you talk about this, Dave, is it's just first class service, it's first class training, everything they do, everything that comes out there, and I love it just because people are going to get the service they need.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're on our final 60 seconds here. So Jeff, I want to ask you, kind of give you the quick version, but you talk about health. Whether it's the health of your home or the health of the people that live it, you deserve to be comfortable. Some people might say, well, I don't know if I can afford that. What I've heard your customers say is, Jeff will finance this for me. I mean, in some cases, it's pretty darn, not some cases, most cases, pretty darn reasonable.
Absolutely, Dave. And that's part of our whole energy audit. When we go into a customer's home, we're able to determine what their existing system costs them to operate. We can show them what the new system costs to operate. And quite often, we can finance them for a low monthly payment with a low interest rate that will be less than what they recover on their energy savings.
All right. And last but not least, the pink trucks. I know in your office you got the Pink Panther up there, but tell me the story of the pink trucks, because of course now I'm like, oh yeah, you got the best service in town. You got a pink truck in your yard.
We get that asked quite often, and we had a technician meeting, and I was telling my guys that I wanted to pick a color that stood out that people would recognize. And of course, one of our technicians who, for lack of better terms, is just a good old boy from Idaho, stood up and sarcastically said, well, why don't you just paint them pink? And I thought that was a tremendous idea.
Well, hey, the best ideas, don't they, Chris, come from, guy goes, well, how about pink? And there you have it. Well, Jeff and Don, thank you guys so much for coming on. Just keep up, like we said, that positive energy. And you guys definitely aren't victim thinkers. You're victory thinkers. We like that.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Don, thank you. So, Chris, another great guest. You keep finding these vendors and people that work with you. You go, yeah, I'd have them in my house. Yeah, the fact is, I'm going to have Jeff and Don watch the kids this weekend.
Well, yeah. I don't think Jeff and Don want to watch my 4 kids.
Well, Jeff doesn't want to feed Carson. That's the...
Well, and the thing is, we always talk about the show, and people talk about me all the time that I'm out there kind of beating the real estate drum, and everyone's just like, it's not as good as, there's no way it's as good as you're saying it is, and on and on and on. But I guess my point is, we bring guys like Jeff and Don and right now on here, and because I love having vendors I can count on. You can call these guys. My clients can call them if you want to find. If you're online, or if you're on my website, we have a vendors link and a preferred vendors link, and we'll have their website linked back to us. So my point is, the goal we're trying to do with, like, right now, heating and air. You look at that, and I said, you know what? If you call them, I don't have to worry about it, Dave. You and I discuss this over and over and over again about the fact is, I love doing business with people that do their job. So if Title does their job, if Jeff's fixing the heating and air, and Don's training the guys over there, I know that when they come into your house and give you a bid, they put in a new unit, whatever it is, that they're going to take care of you and they're going to return your phone calls.
It's right now heatcool.com. And as we said, there's a $20 off service coupon on there. And we just encourage you to reach out. Call them 585-5868, 585-5868. You don't have to wait for Monday. You don't have to wait for the holiday. Just call them and take care of it. And I guess I better do my job. We got to take a time out. We will continue on with the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise right after this.
Very good. Excellent.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good thing.